At what point does Mac Brown look at this defensive staff, and this is what people want to talk about, and say, "This ain't it, guys. We can't do this." He did it to Torbush in what? After the Texas Sun Bowl game in '94-ish. Uh, but but I have no doubt that any quarterback in the country can complete passes against off coverage with no rush, and yet nothing changed. They did blitz a little bit more, got cooked against Georgia Tech because that running back can catch too. But NC State didn't do any of that. What did you see at all adjustments by the North Carolina defense?
Well, there weren't a whole lot of adjustments, I don't think. I mean, that's just kind of been the MO for most of the year. But, I mean, you know how Athlon every year does that whole, like, anonymous coaches talk about their competition and then they post, quotes or whatever? I'm going to give you what you're going to hear about North Carolina for next year. So this is going to be what's going to be said, by Athlon. It's going to be, they look great coming off the bus, but they just aren't real physical, wondering what's going on in Chapel Hill in this respect. And definitely the easiest team we had to prepare for against, defensively. And that, by the way, that's the buzz around right now. If you wanted to talk to teams that have played against Florida, I'm in crazy mode right now. If you want to talk about teams that have played, I just finished another podcast. If you want to talk about teams that have played against Gene Chizik and against this defense, what they keep saying is it's the easiest defense we've had to prepare for all year. They don't do anything, and they don't cause pressure. And like you said, they play off. Well, what are you going to do? So, give you a couple situations. Yesterday, was it 3rd and 1, and they didn't change personnel for a 3rd and 1. They've got dime personnel on, and the backers are 6 yards back on 3rd and 1. Well, there's a freebie.
Yep.
I mean, even if you don't have the time to change personnel, okay, fine. But really, you're just gonna give it up? And defensively, you had multiple times where you're looking at, let's say, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. And you got guys playing 8 yards off.
All the time.
And then you don't have any pass rush to go with it. That's 7 on 7. And the worst part about it is that they're playing 8 yards off and they're backpedaling. Right? Okay, if you're playing 8, like, you can do this. If you're playing 8 yards off on a 3rd and 4, you can do it if you play it flat-footed and you're driving on the ball as soon as you read, one step drop from the shotgun. You can do it, because then you got to get there right when the ball gets there, and you got to play with physicality. But you can't play 8 yards off the ball on 3rd and 4 and backpedal. What I kept saying to myself yesterday, watching this game on defense, was, dang, they give up so much free stuff. Because that's the thing that that's the thing that as an offensive coach, as a quarterback coach, I over and over and over again, one of my mantras was always take the free stuff. Take what they're going to give you. If they're going to give that to you, just take it. Nobody went broke taking a profit. And Carolina's defense just gives you a profit up front. It's like, well, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. Here's a freebie. Next one's free. This one's free. And I guess you can do that if you're going to really tighten up when you get in the red zone. You know, you're playing red zone roulette and you just don't give up big plays. And then you get down in the red zone and you tighten up and they have to kick a field goal or whatever over and over and over again. You can do that. But if that's the case, you better be real physical up front. And you better be in a position where once things do tighten up and you get to where your safeties are now involved in the running game and all of that, and you're starting to take things away because you're not afraid of getting beat deep or whatever, you better be real physical when you get down there. Because the problem, and I think there was an article on this on Inside Carolina, a week ago maybe, about the difference between Chizik 1.0 and this version this season.
Not as good in the red zone.
It's all red zone.
Yep.
Defensively, the numbers are pretty much the same except for the red zone. And the reason for that keeps coming back to the thing that I've been harping on all season, which is the lack of physicality, the lack of certain fundamentals on the defensive line in terms of consistently doing what you're supposed to do on that, and just program DNA to play with the physicality that you've got to have. And that shows out when it comes down, when it comes to rivalry games and when it comes to the important stuff. That's the stuff that comes